Chapter 13. The tree has bloomed. It is Sunday, the 24th day of Dharma, 4:30 in the morning. Shanaeah's eyes opened to see Renata and Darkeenum kneeling over her prostrate form. A weak smile played across her lips as she blinked her eyes to chase away the grogginess.
Oh, blessings. What time is it?
Well, from the position of the moon, I'd say somewhere between 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning,
Renata answered. Shanaeah giggled a bit and asked,
Yes? And on what day?
Sunday morning, sweetheart. The 24th. It's okay. Losing track of time is a common symptom of the commune. Are you all right, darling?
Oh, I suppose. A little weak, perhaps, but all the pain has subsided.
Pain? I've never experienced pain during power commune before, but I'm not the one foretold either. Can you stand, dear?
Yes. Give me a second, please.
She slowly rose. She was still naked, and her beautiful body glistened in the moonlight as she stood.
My goodness, precious girly sprite. If I didn't know better, I'd swear you are taller than you were when we arrived. It must be a trick of the light.
I don't think your eyes are deceiving you, sister. I believe she is indeed an inch or two taller, and if you'll look behind her, you'll see her wings have grown back fully.
Hail the inherent. Her tree has flowered as well.
Renata fell to her knees to examine the mark just below and to the left of her daughter's navel. Darkeenum knelt as well and gaped at the tree, now in full leaf, adorning Shanaeah's sweet, flat belly. They both rose, and embracing each other, they began to cry softly in each other's arms. Now it was Shanaeah's turn to be concerned.
Mom, Auntie Darkeenum, what's wrong?
It's the final sign. You are without question the one foretold. Your mother and I are both overjoyed and yet at the same time overcome with sorrow. Look at your stomach, dearie.
Shanaeah bent over and looked at the tree to see it had indeed grown leaves, and was full and green now. That would explain the searing pain she experienced when the imps pointed their wands at her. And perhaps the gain in height explained the deep skeletal misery which eventually caused her to pass out.
Blessings inherent. Mom, am I taller than Dad now?
Yes, you may well be, dear. And your wings are absolutely gorgeous. The colors are so vivid, and the blue of your eyes actually appears to be a shade deeper. Blessings inherent. If your powers have increased as much as your beauty, then you are undoubtedly the mightiest mage walking Aeronian soil. Since your wings are returned to you, I think we can dismiss the escort and fly home. That is, if you feel up to it, darling.
Yes, I would love to test my wings a bit. It's been a week since I've flown.
Wonderful. While you don your robe, I'd like to go have a word with Tay-Tay before we head home, and thank her for all she and her people have done tonight.
Darkeenum sipped his Milanon and stared at the door. He was seated at the small table in Shanaeah's suite, waiting for her to return from power commune. He was worried about his best friend. He feared that whatever transpired at her first commune would change her so profoundly she wouldn't be the same Genarian sprite upon her return as she was when they parted company just prior to midnight. He was afraid that once she became the one foretold beyond the shadow of a doubt, the witty, charming, loving sprite he had known for all these years would become so engrossed in whatever it was the prophecy held for her, she would lose touch with her former identity completely. Yes, he had assured her she would always be the same Shanaeah, but even as he spoke those words to her yesterday afternoon, he had suspicions to the contrary. But in spite of all his misgivings, regardless of what she has become, he had sworn to her father that he would stick by her side throughout. And out of respect for Oddicum and love for Shanaeah, that is exactly what he would do. The door to her suite creaked open, and Shanaeah, Renata, and Darkeenum walked in. Darkeenum stood and reached for Shanaeah's hand, which she offered to him quite unenthusiastically.
Well, Naya, how did it go?
Quite the profound experience, my good gnome. I have insight into things that I was not even aware existed before tonight. I have fresh perspective on the things I always regarded as truth, and I am married to the elements beyond what vows can guarantee. I fear no witch, I fear no evil. I fear only that the changes in me might offend those I hold dear. Yes, it was invigorating to an exponential degree, my good gnome.
And poor Darkeenum thought to himself,
Shit! My worst fear. I don't even know this person.
Then he asked,
Shanaeah, you look taller, and your wings are grown back fully and even more detailed and beautiful. There's a fire in your eyes, and they seem 2 shades bluer as well. Did all go as well as it would appear?
Well, there was pain, but the pain was necessary. It was but a side effect of the growth that occurred physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Pain? What kind of pain?
he asked as his heart was sinking. He couldn't see the Shanaeah he knew and loved at all in this being.
Well,
Shanaeah said. Then slowly her lower lip began to quiver as she formed her pretty mouth into a heart-rending pout. Then in her best injured little girl voice she said,
They burned my schmoopy.
Then she feigned a few sobs and burst out laughing.
had you going, didn't I, you nasty little ogre fart?
She knelt down and opened her arms, and Darkeenum ran to her and they embraced lovingly.
You bitch, you gorgeous, lovable sprite cunt of a bitch! The bitch, foretold. I should kick you square in your pretty little foretold ass.
Do that, and I'll cast a spell that shrivels your plunger up to the size of a tree imp's cock. Not that anyone would notice much of a change.
Hey, you can alter the size of plungers? Why don't you make me hung like a rock giant then?
No. You are too full of yourself as it is.
Perhaps we should leave these two alone, Renata.
Yes, I suppose. I am glad to see that the inaugural commune of the Foretold has not altered my daughter's sprightly nature. Yes, let's go and leave these two to tend to their feelings. Good day, you two. Get some rest. You both have had a tough night.
And the 2 sister sprites left Shanaeah's suite.
What do you mean they burned your schmoopy? I want to see it. Show me.
Sure. But it wasn't actually my toonch, it was the tree next to it.
Darkeenum opened her robe as Shanaeah stood so Darkeenum could better see her tummy.
Your tree bloomed. It's beautiful, Shanaeah.
Thanks, Dar. It hurt like a bastard when the imps were burning it into me, and it is the final sign of the prophecy. I am indeed the one foretold. I accept that fact now, not because it is the only choice I have, but because it is what I was put on Aeros to be. It just feels, well, natural to me now. All those things I said while I was teasing you are actually true. I have no fear at all. Even should my very life need be sacrificed, I will not alter the course fate has set for me. So, are you still adamant about honoring the oath you made my father? It could and likely will be an incredibly dangerous experience. Do you still want to be a part of it?
Do witches shit behind the dysentery? Of course I still want to be a part of it. Shanaeah, I am not any kind of supernatural being, just a simple gnome from Mneesch. But even at that, you have been a part of my heart since I was 8 years old, and I feel a lot of what you feel. I'm in this just as much as you are, with or without the blood oath.
It is Sunday on the 24th day of Dar May. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. Oddicum gently taps his fingers on the table in the contravisory as he awaits the arrival of Lieutenant Ranneman. He hadn't slept well. Aside from worrying about Shanaeah and her first power commune, he had a nagging feeling that Minerva may strike before defenses were in place. He fears for the humanoid cities to the north of the dysentery most, as they were wedged between the witches' stronghold and the ogre village of Pish. As he ponders this, a knock came on the contravisory door, and the lieutenant entered.
Ranneman, thank you for coming on short notice. Please be seated.
Yes, my lord. What is your bidding this morning?
A few rather important items, Ranneman. Firstly, I need you to have one of your sergeants institute a rationing of marfo milk and tonic water. Since these two commodities are controlled by our adversaries, I assume the supply line may be cut off soon. Have the sergeant confer with Mika, the supply master, and check the barrel stays. Gauge the supply versus the daily usage and adjust it accordingly. No more tonic water baths until this is resolved. Secondly, dispatch runners to Preen, Morganton, and Port Parsis to inquire as to when we can expect the troops that were discussed in the afternoon portion of the Congress yesterday to mobilize. Also send a runner to the Gnome cities and Tenella to see where they stand in preparing for the impending strike. We must defend the Gnome cities as their gardens provide produce for the entirety of Aeros. Tenella's close proximity to Rorsch places them in danger by misfortunate default. Then send a runner to the gates of the 4 great cities. Have him ask for audience with a justice to inquire as to whether or not the Mneesch will aid us. I doubt they will become involved until they are attacked themselves, but we need to know for sure so we can continue to plan. Thirdly, send for Sergeant Tarmus. He, like yourself, is half-elf, half-Noid. I want him to assemble a force of 100 Boniscan archers and march post-haste to take position south of Harlus and east of the other 2 Noid cities of the northwest. Tarmus has relatives in the Noid cities, so he will be quite motivated to defend them, I feel. Advise him that he needs to leave today if at all possible, as I fear the Noid cities may be the first point of attack our enemy chooses. We will send reinforcements as soon as possible. Have him forego the road and go cross-country from Dawn Avarice to avoid the Disselry. Being from Prentice originally, he knows the paths through the northern waste and will arrive just north of Harlus. He can divide his forces there. 40 archers to defend Harlus and 60 to guard Prentice and Norton should suffice for now, until we can send troops from the Elven capital and the Noid cities to the southeast. Have Zamus and his entourage wait and depart with Sergeant Tarmus. That will ensure his safe conduct back to Prentice. I also have concern for Pandana and Tanella, as their proximity to Rorsch places them in danger as well. I would—
A knock came at the contravisory door and interrupted Oddicum.
Yes, enter.
The door opened, and Mneesch, the leader of the Solitarian sect, entered.
Sorry to interrupt, Lord Oddicum, but I felt the need to confer with you further.
Yes, my good sprite, what is it you wish to discuss?
Well, my lord, the doings of my sect are not common knowledge in Aeros, as we are a secretive society. Yet we do have a great interest in the common good, and counter to common belief, we are not just a few wandering vagabonds who inhabit the forest of Jane. We have numbers that would surprise the populace. We build no permanent structures. The nature of our mage demands we sleep under moonlight. Therefore we have no cities to defend. We are mobile, we travel light, and we can set our tent villages up in an hour's notice anywhere. We live off the land and therefore require no grubstake. So in the interest of the greater good, I offer the services of the Solitarian sect in this quest to keep Aeros free of Dissel rule. I have 500 of my finest archer/swordsmen ready to fly at this very moment, just waiting for the command. 500 Solitarians that can be positioned wherever it is deemed most pertinent within a couple of hours' time. We are exceptionally skilled both with the sword and the crossbow, not to mention the mage. We offer our allegiance to the free peoples of Aeros.
My dear Mneesch, hail the Inherent. This is undoubtedly the greatest piece of news I've heard since I learned of Shanaeah's escape from Rorsch. Yes, indeed we shall accept your offer. This selfless gesture of goodwill toward your fellow Aronians may well be the generous act that saves several cities and keeps Aeros free. Blessings inherent upon you and the sect.
And upon you and Lieutenant Ranneman as well. Just inform me as to where you would like us to deploy, and as I said, we can occupy within 2 hours.
Ranneman, I believe the Noid cities will stand after all.